Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I wanted to talk about the types of gang stalkers, the type of environments you will commonly see this stuff um, happening. Um, if you have been intuitively guided to peep this type of game, then you will be able to relate to some of the stuff I'm talking about. But what I have noticed about gang stalkers is that there is always um, some type of narcissistic um, personality at the head of it. Um, I don't know why that is, but that's just what I've observed. Um, and usually, uh, when they start doing things like gang stalking and harassing people, um, this is when the narcissist is at their most toxic, and they will utilize other people to do their bidding so that they can stay in the shadows and smile and grin, from a distance, or try to pretend to be your friend. Okay, whether they're a family member or, whatever. Um, so you have to be mindful of this, okay? When you're going through certain types of things, you have to realize if you're having certain types of trouble and it seems like it's always coming from each and every side, no matter where you turn, there is some type of problem. You need to be aware energetically and spiritually and mentally of what is going on, okay? Um, Either that's your own energy that you need to clear out and do some inner work, or you're around a really toxic person that don't like you, okay? And a lot of times, especially when people who practice witchcraft um, start gang stalking, it first starts with them trying to quote unquote curse the person, okay? And if they're close enough to you, or they have somebody else trying to befriend you, to be close enough to you to see whether or not it's working, and it's not working, that that spell work that they're doing will graduate to more nefarious actions toward you. Now, the type of gang stalkers are usually workplace cliques, neighborhood watches, okay, or just nosy um, neighbors that have all clicked up together, church cliques, college sororities, fraternities. You see this in high school sometimes. And the other gang stalking is, surprisingly, police investigations. Now, I'm going to talk about the last one first, police investigations. Now, I don't want to add to any drama or controversy that's surrounding police and how they police. neighborhoods, especially Black neighborhoods. What I'm trying to bring attention to is that historically, okay, um, if you research a lot of the civil rights leaders or Black leaders in a certain time frame, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, you will also find out is that these people had police following them all the time. Okay, some type of law enforcement, whether it was the local police or the FBI, um, and sometimes both, would follow and monitor these people. Okay, and for no other good reason other than they were gang stalking them. Okay, and that's just what it is. Okay, we know now the crack epidemic in the Black neighborhood stemmed from the government. Okay, and the reality is nobody floods a whole community with drugs and then says, okay, our work is done. Let's mosey on. No, you have to watch those individuals to make sure the nefarious shit you just did takes hold, okay? And keep a cycle to perpetuate um, the problem that you caused, right? So there's some form of monitoring, gang stalking, to make sure that what you did, okay, um, takes hold, okay? And that's just what it is. This is the history of our country. So, a lot of times I don't want to talk about certain things because people will get mad and it starts controversy, but I'm not making this up. Like, you can research that on your own. This is what law enforcement back in those days did. So, today, why would a police investigation cause some form of gang stalking? If you're connected to a person who's under some type of federal investigation for whatever, okay, you have to be careful because it will cause them to start overly looking into your life, okay? And if you know you have nothing to do with whatever this person is doing, or you have no idea of what this person is doing, once you start to realize what is going on, it is better to just separate yourself because they won't stop watching as long as you're connected to that person. Okay, and that's just what it is. Okay, so that's why I put that one there. Okay, and in some instances, people have had to get lawyers, and like I said, all of this stuff you can research yourself to try to stop federal law enforcement from continuing to investigate and harass them even beyond the point where their investigation shows that they have nothing to do with whatever this person over here did. You know, so in some instances, you will be guilty by association. So do not associate, okay? And that's what I have to say about that. And like I said, it will become evident that it's police, law enforcement, some type of law enforcement agency, because you'll find that they have the capability to do things that a normal, regular person can't do. And that's just what it is. So you have to think to yourself, what can a normal person buy and have access to? Okay. Now, what would somebody have access to if they had a secret warrant or some type of warrant to spy on a person for investigative purposes. What type of resources would they have? And then that should tell you, okay? So the other one, schools and colleges. Schools, everybody knows that when children get together and click up, and and a lot of the behavior that you see in workplaces, churches, neighborhoods stem from um, like high school. You know, it's like these people never grow up, but you have to be careful of that. You have to be careful of your children being clicked up with certain groups of teenagers, okay? Usually those are like high school, junior high school, those are the most, except for, I've seen instances where they have jumped people and the bullying was so extensive that, either a teenager loses their life or the teenager goes into the school and shoots it up. So you have to be careful either way, okay? If your child is the victim of bullying, you really have to talk and give them guidance so that they don't go to either end of that spectrum. But the other places that you may see gang stalking or a type of gang stalking are colleges, and that's because of the sororities and fraternities, okay? And there could be other cliques. Like I said, I have nothing against sororities or fraternities. They're about brotherhood and sisterhood, and they do a lot of good community work, okay? So if you're a part of one, kudos to you. But my point being is that a lot of them will click up, okay? And if you get a narcissistic type, toxic personality in the midst of that, okay, whoever they're targeting for their bullying, that can end up in a bad situation, okay? And I have seen extreme cases of not really gang stalking, but the hazing, okay? But they do the gang stalking, okay? Where they're watching each other and keeping tabs on each other, you know. So that's another form. And also, like I said, that usually like I said, most people grow out of certain stupid activity, doing stupid shit. The stuff that I did when I was younger, I don't do that now. When I look back at that shit, I'd be like, I can't believe I did that or even thought that way. So you have to be mindful of that. So high schools, colleges, that um, that adolescent, teenage type of thinking they should eventually grow out of, right? As they mature. But we know they don't, okay? And we're living in the day and age of technology, okay? Which makes it easier to do certain things, to stalk a person. Churches. Churches are uh, I want to say, I don't want to say it's the top one for gang stalking. I forgot I turned on my alarm. Um, so I don't want to say churches are like the top one, but churches have become a problem, okay? Because you have so many wolves in sheep clothing. So a lot of gang stalking goes on in churches. Like I said, it's usually some type of narcissistic personality that has to have control of all of their members, okay? And I'll go into that one later. The next one is neighborhood watches. Neighborhoods and neighborhood watches uh, have been becoming very bad with gang stalking. And you'll know this by what you see in the news, where, innocent people are dying because these neighborhood watches are just doing the most, okay? They're just doing the most. And if you walk around in certain types of neighborhoods and, you know, you're black, like I said, I really don't like saying that, but it just is what it is, right? And I'm just going to tell from my experience. If I go into a um, mostly white neighborhood to buy my groceries, okay, um, I end up in a situation where I'm being gang stalked by these people because they're trying to figure out why I'm coming to their neighborhood to buy groceries. And the sad truth is, they have a better selection of groceries and produce than some black neighborhoods, okay? And that's just is what it is, okay? And I don't know how else to say it. Like when you live in certain areas, when I notice, when I would go into all black neighborhoods, it's just certain things. Um, I don't know. I just feel like black neighborhoods get the bottom of the barrel of the produce and everything else, you know, unless it's specifically designed for black people, like black hair care and stuff like that. But as far as like food, like that's just something I noticed. So I would always go into the all white neighborhood and buy my food. And at one point, I lived in a majority white neighborhood. And, those people think it's okay to stalk. I understand that neighborhood watches are supposed to be aware, so that people aren't coming into their neighborhoods doing all kind of stuff. But it's not okay for you to stalk me, right? It's not okay for you to go beyond, okay? Once I leave your neighborhood, it should have stopped right there. Oh, she only comes to get groceries, you know? But their stalking will go beyond that. They'll want to know where you live, and it just, I'm like, to me, it's like no other group of people can get away with doing fuck shit like this. Like, I don't know why, they allow people to do this. But, like I said, it is what it is right at the end of the day. But I notice, like, the ones where they go extreme, they actually kill somebody, they're now filing charges against these people and sending them to fucking jail. Because you have no right to take it past that point because you don't like the color of somebody's skin and you have assumptions about them because of the color of their skin. But, like I said, you just have to be careful of that, okay? They're another one that do a lot of gang stalking, okay? They want to know who you are, why you come into their neighborhood to go to their grocery store, okay? And in some instances, if you keep coming to their neighborhood, as we've seen on the news, they will take it to the extreme. So, neighborhood watchers can become gang stalkers, okay? Neighbors do the same thing. You know, like when I say neighbors, it depends on what those neighbors are into, okay? If you happen to move into a neighborhood where they practice a lot of the occult, witchcraft, and stuff like that, that can be a problem. And you're not going to know when you move into the neighborhood because most people wear Jesus Christ like a storefront, okay? In the storefront, you think they're selling these products, but they're not. When you go in the back, and when I used to live in Brooklyn, this is what they would have a lot of times. Like it would be a store, but in the back, my grandmother would take us, and there'd be a gambling in the back. And she'd play her numbers, okay? So you think these people are following Christ, but behind the scenes, the church is just a storefront for what they're doing in the back, okay? So, like, a lot of times you won't know when you're moving into these neighborhoods, okay? And these neighbors will test you, okay? A lot of times when people are always trying to make conversation with you, the reason why they're always trying to make conversation, in a lot of instances, not all, okay? Especially if they're into the occult and witchcraft. If somebody's into the occult and witchcraft, they're into the psychic scene, okay, where they go to psychics to tell them, you know, what's going to happen in the future. So a lot of times they will have one of their psychics or mediums approach you to try to make small talk. Now, what is this to do? What they're trying to do, okay, is connect, right? So they'll start talking about stuff and, maybe the first time it's just small talk, nothing big. They don't, it doesn't strike you as off. But the second time, okay, you'll notice when they're talking to you, they're telling you about things that they did, and it's a lot of similar experiences that you had maybe during the day or the day prior. Now, what just happened was the first time they met you was to sort of read your energy, okay? Now, from that, they go and they try to connect on a spiritual level or a mental level to find a way in, okay, to to know to know you. Okay, some will send their spirit guides, demons, whatever whatever it is that they particularly call on to get the information is what they'll call upon. Okay, so when they come to you the second time, they want to know, okay, have they made the connection? So a lot of times they'll be talking to you, and if you say, yeah, I was doing that the other day in X, Y, and Z, and you think they're making small talk, but now you just alerted them that they found a way in. And I promise you it will be downhill from there, okay? The other type of gang stalking, okay, um, are workplace cliques, okay? And like I said, it always has some type of narcissist, okay, as their goddamn leader, okay? Somebody with a um, very toxic energy about them, way about them. And some narcissists at the surface, they will seem, nice, but they're not. Okay. So you have to be careful of the workplace cliques because they can turn into gang stalkers. And what I have noticed about gang stalkers, like I said, whoever they're gang stalking for whatever reason, everybody, every one of those groups have a different reason why they gang stalk, right? But, okay, um, the main core of why they do it, okay, is to have some type of control over the person that they're doing it to, okay? Or to find out information that at the end of the day ain't none of their fucking business, right? So you have to be careful of them, right? And what I noticed is like I said, some of the main characteristics of these people is they have some type of narcissistic personality leading them, okay? And they're always into some type of witchcraft or occult, okay? Like, I don't know why those two are intertwined, okay? But this is just something that I noticed, okay? And you have to be very careful of them. One time you know, I was dealing with some strange things that was happening to me. And like I said, now if anything abnormal happens around me, strange stuff happen around me, I don't care how crazy it sounds, I file police reports. But at one point, when I was being gang stalked, I noticed that I would come into my house. And when I came into my house, I noticed that something was out of place. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, why is this over here? I know I put it over there. But then I looked around my house. I went in the basement, I went in the attic, I looked all around. I said, all the doors are locked, all the windows are locked, everything's locked. So I said, man, I must be bugging. I said, there's no way they could have came into the house. So I just chucked it off, just dismissed the thought and went on about my night. Now, at this time, I noticed a lot of stuff was triggering me and upsetting me. And I'm trying to think, why do I feel off like this? Now, I want to say maybe a week later, the same thing happened where something that I put, okay, that I knew I put in one place was no longer in that place. And again, the windows are locked, the doors are locked, there are nothing looks like it was broken into. The door doesn't look like it was jimmied, or, as they would say, it don't look like anybody picked the lock. So I'm thinking, how would they even get in here? So I was like, yo, this is crazy. I said, this is weird. So I said, oh my God. So within myself, I just kept asking myself, if somebody's just coming in I said, who does that? Why would somebody come in your house, not steal anything, and all they're doing is just moving objects where I know I put them and putting them somewhere else? So I said, that's just crazy. I said, that doesn't make any sense, right? So now I'm thinking to myself, now I'm asking myself these questions, and I'm saying, well, how would they get in? Now, a week later, I get locked out of my house, right? Where I left the keys on the table, and I thought I was in a rush to get to work, and I thought I had it in my bag, and I didn't. And when I locked the door, and like I locked that bottom lock. So then I looked in my bag so that I could lock the top lock, because you need the key to lock the top lock, right? And as I'm looking, I was like, oh snap. I said, I don't have my keys. So I had to call a locksmith, right? So I called this locksmith. Okay, I can't make this stuff up. I call the locksmith. He looks at the lock, right? And he has these keys. And then he starts using a series of the keys based upon the lock. Okay. So I realized this man has a master key. Okay. All locks, most of them are made with master keys that if you get locked out, a locksmith can come and open the fucking door. And when I saw that, as I'm looking at him doing this, and he just opens my door, something within me said, that's how they got in. And I said, oh my God, like a sickening feeling entered my whole body. I felt sick, okay? I felt so sick. I said, oh my God. I said, oh my God. So I started to pay attention more and more to where I put things, and I would find that things were not quite how I put them. Now, a lot of people may think, as I first thought, oh, that might not be nothing. But here is where you have to really pay attention. When somebody's gang stalking you and doing witchcraft on you, okay, they have to find a way, okay, to try to get you off balance, okay? And the best way to do it is to do things that you know may aggravate that person. Now, how would that aggravate me? How would that aggravate a person? The sheer fact that, and if you go to the police, they're not going to do anything about it initially, okay, until like something is stolen. Because the fact is, no one stole anything. They're just moving things around, okay? That's classic of I'm just fucking with you, right? And when I prayed about it, I want to say a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later, I found this book. And, I'm not kidding. If somebody who's listening to this video, you know, has read this book, I'm not going to give the name of the book, but when I describe what's in it, if you read it, you know. Okay. I found this book about cursing your enemy, right? How to how to curse your enemy. That's not the name of the book, but this is what it was talking about. So as I'm looking and flipping through the book, I said to myself, I said, something in me was telling me just read it. And I'm like, I don't want to read this, you know. I don't want nothing on these pages to accidentally on purpose be impressed on my subconscious mind. But something in me said, read it, read the book. So as I'm reading it, one of the ways that this book describes that you can get your enemy off their game energetically, how to make your enemy energetically imbalanced is by aggravating them with little things. And the book says, if you have access to their house, move stuff out of place just a little bit. And the book was saying this will drive them completely nuts because they won't know who's doing it. And as I'm reading this goddamn motherfucking shit, I was like, yo, that's some next level stuff. That's next level stuff. And this is why I said I'm going to start doing a YouTube channel and start warning people about this stuff, okay? Now, I keep trying to tell people the game is real, okay? And you will be surprised at who likes to do this type of stuff, okay? You'll be surprised, okay? People who you don't think, people sitting in the church with you in the pews, kissing you, talking about praise the Lord, and they have no good intentions toward you, okay? People in the workplace, okay, who feel like, you make more money than they do, okay? Or they know that a promotion in the job is about to open up and they're trying to do things to get rid of you, okay? Because they know that you have more education and experience, okay? And that you're the better candidate. You don't know what people will go above and beyond to do. Okay, racist. All I was doing was going into the neighborhood to buy damn groceries. I didn't look at nobody wrong. I smiled. I was polite. I didn't even play my music loud, but still, those racist ass people felt like it was their obligation to try to stalk me. And these are the things that you have to be careful of. Look at Malcolm X, how the FBI followed him all over the world. Okay? And the man committed no crime. Okay? Look at all the civil rights leaders. Okay? That law enforcement harassed. Okay? This is what And like I said, gang stalking, okay? And this is why I said, I'm just going to keep making the police reports, because in every instance of gang stalking, okay, the person who is being gang stalked always end up in some type of situation where their life is in danger, okay? And I feel like it's my duty to tell people and warn people, okay? Because awareness has to be brought to this. And I'm going to talk about this some more and in more detail. But for right now, that's all I wanted to talk about for this subject for right now. I'm going to try to do a new YouTube video, at least once a week, diving into this stuff. And if this has helped you, please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.